Hey, Suzanne here with caregiverhaven.com. So today we're going to talk about the hidden risks and why you have to know their physical limits before it's too late. This is critical because any physician who has worked with seniors has seen this over and over again, where the senior starts to decline and nobody mentions it. And if we can reverse it, we want to. If we can accept it, we want to. But we have to look at these signs because once a person starts down this road, a senior starts down this road, sometimes there is no turning back. We can't stop it because it's too late. So I want you to be aware of these 5 things. Let's talk about them now. Okay, the 5 common physical signs of decline and why they matter. I'm going to show you what they are. They're not specifically diseases or disorders. We're talking about 5 common physical signs you're going to watch for in your senior. I'm going to talk about the chain reaction that I see happen over and over again in my patients and how the caregivers, when they stepped up and told me something was going on, then we started to act, and we acted quickly. Any physician, like I said, will jump on this immediately. And why caregivers often ignore this, not our fault. Sometimes just a senior saying, I'm fine. And then I've already, why we're, talking about this early and how the medical professionals need to rely on you. If you tell us, we can do something about it, or it may be too late. So we're not going to catch it in a 15-minute visit. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, the first one, it's going to start small. They're going to struggle to open jars. They're going to avoid carrying groceries, or they're going to grip your hand a little differently. It's muscle loss, and it's called sarcopenia. SARCO, sarcopenia, and it's one of the first and most dangerous aging problems. It's muscle weakness. And these weak muscles mean slower reflexes, more falls, and more time in bed. And the more time in bed is going to lead to infections, pressure sores, and hospital stays. So if they've stopped using, let's say you've got a senior who just jumps up off the couch, right? Now your senior, because of aging, is using a chair that has armrests, and now they're using the armrests to get up. Now you're helping them get up because they can't get up on their own. All 3 phases are changes, and we need to know about them, or we in the medical profession need to know about them. So there's a way to track this. And muscle weakness is going to lead to this frailty where they're getting too weak and now they're napping every day. They're not getting up. You're going to notice they're not sitting on that couch anymore because it's, quote, too low, unquote. Okay. They're only going to go to the chairs where they have arms. They're going to go to a wheelchair. You're going to see the changes, but we want to know each stage as it goes. So, using their arms to push up on a chair, and they've stopped doing this, it's time. It's time to act. Something's going on. All right, balance and gait changes is another issue. And they just don't walk slower, they walk differently. That shuffling step, the hesitation before turning or grabbing in onto furniture. How many times have I watched a patient walk down the hall? And many times, any good physician will do this. As you're leading your senior into a room, they're standing down the hall watching you with your senior and how they're walking. Because a 15-minute visit sitting in a chair doesn't tell us what we need to know. It's, can we get them up on the exam table? Can we watch how they walk? Are you helping them down the hall? Are they grabbing the handle or the walls as they go down the hall? Are they using the chair arms to get up and onto the table? We're watching how they're struggling. This is balance and gait issues that we're looking at here. So these are red flags. So balance issues often stem from inner ear changes, medications, or poor muscle coordination. And they're the number one cause of falls, which are going to put your senior in the ER. So we have to look at these and notice these changes. If they hesitate before stepping onto a rug or even any uneven surface, their brain no longer trusts their body. What about getting out of bed? Are they hesitant to get out of bed? Do they put their feet down first and then they only step on one foot, not the other? Why? Because the other foot hurts. Something in their foot is hurting. And watch when they start walking and they, typically, especially if it's arthritis, they'll get out of the pain. They'll walk off the pain and then they're walking, but they're still limping. Get behind them and watch how they're walking. These are changes that you want to be aware of. Okay, poor vision. They say the lights are too dim, or they can't find the salt, or they bump into corners, or they confuse white pills for yellow pills or blue pills. I've seen this over and over again. So it's vision loss, it's hearing changes, and even poor depth perception. All part of aging, but the changes are what I want you to look at. They're silent contributors to accidents. And many caregivers don't realize how much these sensory losses are going to impact the judgment, mobility, and their safety. Here's a secret tip. See how many lights they have on in their house. You may be shocked. They might have on all the lights. And if so, the lights are still too dim. So you might have to replace them with all LED lights. Put those on. Change those out. Make sure it's as bright as can be. I'll give you an interesting story. This caregiver member put all LED lights in her mom's house. Her kids came over and said, "Gosh, it's so bright in here." Now they're used to it. But mom needed those bright lights. She needed to be able to see. You can't do it in the dark when you have poor vision. So make sure the lights are bright. Incontinence and bathroom struggles. This is number 4. Okay? It's awkward. It's incredibly important. And seniors are going to hide incontinence or bathroom problems due to embarrassment. They do this all the time. They're fine, but they're not. Or they're rushing to the bathroom. Or they're checking to see where the bathroom is. Or they don't want to go to the park with you because there's no bathroom. They don't want to go to the mall with you anymore because there's no bathroom. So they're avoiding things like hydration. They don't want to drink a lot of water because they don't want to go to the bathroom because they know they're going to have to go. They're going to have to go quickly, right? Are they getting off the toilet easily? Do they need handles to get off the toilet? Do they need a grab bar by the toilet? Look at these things. These are changes. How difficult. Don't wait on these. If they need grab bars in the bathroom, get them installed so they can grab them and they can get up easily. It's all part of aging, but it's the changes that you make. And if they have urinary tract infections, dehydration, or skin issues, this is all going to tie into physical limitations. What do I mean by skin issues? I mean they're not clean in their private areas. And if they're not cleaned in their private areas, it's going to set up infections. It's going to set up, the skin is thinning in the area. It leads to irritation. So a bathroom accident is going to signal a bigger problem, not just a leak. You need to pay attention to this. It has to be documented. Fatigue and energy crashes, and this goes back to sarcopenia or muscle loss too. They're just tired, and this becomes their daily excuse. But real fatigue is when they nap constantly, they stop walking outside, they avoid favorite activities, and can signal heart issues, lung issues, anemia, or thyroid problems, which could be dealt with if you see the changes. This is why one of the things that we encourage in caregiving is a schedule. Because if you have a schedule and you're keeping your senior active and you're keeping them energized, and then all of a sudden they're not participating in these activities anymore, we've got a problem. we've got to change, and we have to adjust to that change. Or the other thing I've seen, and a lot of this goes with lung infections, when somebody has a cold or cough, flu, or even COVID, and they're lying around all the time. The question I had to ask was, how much are they lying? Are they sleeping to recover, or are they sleeping because they're going downhill and they're not breathing? If they're not breathing and they're not getting oxygen, it's a dangerous sign. Okay. And we want to get them to the ER, and we want to get them checked out and into the hospital before it's too late. So oftentimes caregivers and family members are seeing their senior just lying around, lying around. They're lying around, or they're napping all the time because of a lung issue, a heart issue. Like I said, what is going on? Why is their energy level so low? We have to look at these. We have to think about these 10-minute activities they used to love, and now they don't love them anymore because they're too tired. They don't want to do them. And we talk about this when we talk about showering. The senior will say, I don't want to shower. They refuse taking a shower. They refuse, getting cleaned up. Even if it's a sponge bath, they don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it. And then they say, well, I'll do it later on in the day. No, later on in the day, they're too tired, and they're going to give you that excuse. So they either do it now, or we do it in 15 minutes. What do you want to do? We cannot do it later on in the day because their level of energy has drained by then. So fatigue is often one of the first signals of multiple system problems. We want to keep their energy level up. Make sure you pay attention to that. All right, so why do we miss the signs? And we all do. We miss the signs. I personally missed the signs. I'm my own mom. She had muscle weakness, she had frailty, and she had failure to thrive, which means she stopped eating. But she was in a independent living place, and they assured me that she was eating. And I knew she wasn't eating because in 30 days she lost 30 pounds. So I knew she wasn't eating. So the truth, we miss these because they creep up so slowly, and then we have to adjust, and we don't know how to adjust. Nobody sees the full picture. And a couple of things happen. Number one, they end up in the ER and we don't know why. Or number two, somebody comes to visit and they go, whoa, what's wrong with your senior? What's wrong with mom? What's wrong with dad? What's wrong with, brother, sister, whoever it is we're taking care of, the senior? They're like, they're not doing so well anymore. They see the changes because they were away for a while, and then they come in and they automatically see the changes. I need you to see these changes little by little. It doesn't mean something bad necessarily is going on. We might be able to catch it if it is bad. It just might be a part of aging, but we have to adjust. So we often just go through the day busy, we're tired ourselves, we're not getting a good night's sleep, we're missing these signs. I just need you to pay attention and track these. Track the differences. Wait a minute, what are the small things that they're not doing anymore? So what you see every day is going to be 10 times more valuable than what a physician sees in 15 minutes. And they come in, and half the time, a physician looking at their computer, they're not even looking at the patient. I was constantly looking at the patient. And I will tell you one thing that I did is when I walked into the exam room, if the patient was sitting next to their caregiver, I moved my chair so that I positioned myself where I could talk to the patient and put the caregiver behind me. I'll say it again. I put the caregiver behind me because I wanted to see the caregiver's facial expressions as I was talking to their seniors, because I knew something was wrong. Now, eventually, my patients and my caregivers all learned that they were going to slip me a note ahead of time telling me what was going on so I could address it. And this was great, especially if the senior refused to give up their keys to the car and they were still driving. And I said, and I knew this was a problem, I said, you know what? I don't think you can drive anymore. I don't think you can drive anymore. And I think you need to put it down. And I need your keys. And they go, oh, I don't like the key. Nope, taking your license, you cannot drive anymore. It's not okay. And the caregiver was so relieved that I could say it and the senior would listen to me or get mad at me. I'd rather have them mad at me than at the caregiver they have to live with. So the valuable thing was giving me that letter, giving me that note, slipping it to me ahead of time. I never let the senior know unless the caregiver gave me permission to let the senior know they were writing the note. I had the note. Let's talk about the chain reaction on this. The chain reaction is the muscle weakness and the frailty. And if we go all the way back to that, the chain reaction, they get weaker and weaker. Now they're frail. Now they won't even get out of bed. Their balance changes. Then all of a sudden, they fall. Their gait changes. They're not seeing well. They're not hearing well. They're losing the feeling in the bottom of their feet called proprioception. And what happens here is they can't feel their feet anymore, so they don't know where their feet are. So they're going to fall over that rug, and it's literally called a throw rug for a reason. It throws the senior. Okay, these changes make it difficult for them to get to the bathroom. Once they get to the bathroom, they can't get up from the toilet. These changes, sleeping all the time, not getting up, not full of activity anymore and energy. What's going on? Is it depression? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Is it just weakness? Are they not breathing? Is it their heart? Are they in pain? When they're in pain, they don't want to walk. When their foot hurts, they don't want to walk. When their arms hurt, their shoulders, they can't reach up to even get a plate anymore out of the cabinet because of osteoarthritis, because of that horrible pain that they live in constantly. It leads to depression. How do we fix that for them? How do we make their lives engaged? How do we make them happy? So those are some of the things that we look at when we get to the chain reaction. We got to stop it. We got to change it. We got to look for it so we can adjust. All right. When we push too hard, we mean well. There's no doubt about it. But we try, and what happens is it backfires on us. Then the senior gets mad at us and says, leave me alone, especially if it's a husband and wife team. And just leave me alone. I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't want to hear it. And one of the things we do as seniors is we don't want our kids to know about it. We don't want to burden them. We don't want them to worry about us. I'll give you a perfect example. Had a member who has 3 daughters. Well, she lives by herself. She's fine. But her daughter comes to visit. And I warned her. I said to her, do you have everything in your house good to go? Is it clean? Is it neat? And she goes, well, it's kind of, I said, not good enough. I said, your daughter's going to walk in and she's going to see your house in disarray and she's going to call your other 2 daughters. I'm not kidding you. You better dress up. You better look happy. You better put an energy in your body. You better put a smile on your face and you better look engaged and you better have that house in tip-top shape. You better make it look like a shining star because she's going to think something's wrong with mom. And that senior got up and she was perfectly able and capable of getting up and making sure the house looked perfectly well, perfectly beautiful. So her daughter wouldn't go home and call the other 2 and call her sisters. So do we want, when caregivers start pushing, they also ignore their own pain and limitations. And the next thing you know, they're not sleeping well. My own personal experience as a caregiver, I could not, under any circumstances, get up with my mom more than 3 nights in a row. So then I limited it to 2 nights. 2 nights, I could get up with her like having a baby, an infant. Why? I had to get up and help her to the bathroom, which she got up 2 or 3 times a night. So I had to get up with her and get her to the bathroom and get her back to sleep. And then the 3rd night, I had to pay somebody $25 to come in so I could get a full night's sleep. Had to do it. And they slept on the couch. And they got up with her. So I didn't have to worry about her. They got up with her, took her to the bathroom, And then I was good for 2 nights. Then that third night, had to bring them in again. So yes, I had to do that. I had to do it. Somebody else had to come in, whether it's a sister, a brother, another family member, a college student, a high school student. It doesn't matter. Let them get up. Let them get paid 20 bucks to do that. The other thing is we might skip meals. We don't eat right, and we don't socialize anymore. We've lost our socialization. So we need to look at, as they continue to age, what burdens are we putting on ourselves mentally, physically, and socially, and mentally. All right, why doctors don't always catch this? Because they're in a 15-minute program with you. Most doctors now are not in solo practice where they run their own practices and they can see patients at their leisure. Most of them are in a practice that's hired by a hospital facility or a huge healthcare facility. They tell them that they have to see a patient every 10 minutes. So 10 minutes in and out. So the other problem is doctors don't live with you. They rely on a quick visit. What's your problem today? Well, here's my problem today. You're living with them. You have to be able to communicate to the doctor quickly and very, very directly. Okay? Well, mom's been feeling badly lately. No. Tell me the signs and the symptoms. What are you seeing? You need to feel it, see it, hear it. You're not going to smell or taste it, or you might. What's the things that are going on that you're seeing? These are the signs. And you need to bring this real life evidence to the table, to the exam room in a way that gets heard. And it's so much easier if you just say, here's a list of things. Here they are. Here's the things that are going on that I'm seeing. And I'm worried, because you want to stop that domino effect. And what you're doing is, why this matters so much is because you're actually bridging the gap between the home and the healthcare system. What you're doing is you're saying to the doctor, help me. Here's what I'm giving you. Is this a problem? Now, if they ignore it, that's on them. And you can do something about that. You can ask for a second opinion. You can ask for another doctor. You can ask for a specialist, because something's going on that wasn't there before. And they're just aging is not an answer when you have one of these 5 things changing. Again, because we want to address the domino effect. So what happens when you know your limits? When you understand your physical limitations, you stop arguing, because it's not your fault. You can't do it anymore. You start making home adjustments, you start setting reasonable goals, and you start getting help. And when you get help, because you can't lift them anymore, you can't get them out of bed, you can't entertain them anymore, you can't change how they're feeling, you get somebody else in to help. If this includes the doctor that can offer physical therapy that's going to change them, readjust, and every 2 years every year really, you should be changing out their walker or adjusting their walker. You should get a physical therapist in there. Because why? They're shrinking and they need a height adjustment. So that old walker probably doesn't work anymore. They need a new walker. They might need an electric chair with a recliner now. It changes the things that they need. Knowing their limits doesn't make you controlling. It's going to make you smart when you know all the options that are out there. Take yourself to a medical supply store and look at all the cool things that are in a medical supply store. You'd be shocked at what you're missing for your senior. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to you when you don't know all the gadgets that are out there now. It truly matters because it anchors the emotional outcome. And it's calm versus chaos. You don't have to bug them anymore. You don't have to worry about them anymore. You have the tools in front of you to help with the aging process. Give you a real life situation is when Ruthie One of my clients, she called me in tears because her husband, who was normally sharp and mobile, had fallen, and it led to a 5-day hospital stay. But she said there was no warning signs. Well, then she looked back and she saw that he was dragging his right foot and skipping meals and falling asleep during movies. And she didn't notice this. She thought, he's tired. He doesn't feel like eating. It was just slowing down. But in truth, what had happened? He'd had a mini stroke weeks before. Nobody knew it. Yeah, nobody knew he had a mini stroke. Mm-mm. So these are the things that if we can look for them, we can know something's different. And if you watch for those signs, they're going to be there. Tell me what they are. Tell the physician what they are. He's sleeping during movies. He's never done that before. He's not eating. I don't even know that he's holding his fork correctly anymore. He can't even cut his own meat anymore. His glass, when he picks it up, his hands are shaking now. What's going on? It's going to show up in small ways. Catch it. And sometimes it's just not physical. It looks like a physical limitation, but it's actually not. It's depression, anxiety, or grief. We'll talk about that at another time. But the senior who won't get out of bed, not tired, they may feel hopeless. The pain that they feel every day, just moving, the aching pain, the chronic inflammation they feel says, I don't even want to get out of bed. I don't want to move anymore. And the caregiver who snaps easily may not even be impatient. What is happening is they're physically and emotionally worn thin. So there's always, maybe, well, not always, but many times there's a different reason. They're not just, you look at yourself some days and go, why did I snap at my senior? Why did I snap at mom or dad? Well, it's not because you're becoming a different person. It's because you're just tired. So let's look at the real opportunity here to heal the real wound, the thing that's going on behind it. So always look at the emotional and behavioral clues that are attached to the physical changes. So we talked about the 5 common physical signs: muscle weakness and frailty, the balance and gait changes that occur, poor vision and sensory loss, incontinence and bathroom struggles, fatigue and energy crashes. Remember those 5. Write them down. Keep them somewhere on the refrigerator. Watch for them. What are the changes? And I'm working on something kind of special that's going to go hand in hand in this. So everything we've talked about today, and it's going to be it's designed to help you record. It's exactly what I taught my families and their seniors. It's exactly what I taught them to look for and then give that paper to me. I want you to be able to give that paper to your senior's physician. I want you to be able to say, here's what I see. Here's what's going on. Here's what I'm looking at. This is what I'm thinking. Why do you think differently? Or do you think it could be this? Do you think it could be that? This is what I want you to have, this real conversation with with your mom and dad's physician or husband and wife's physician. And more importantly, it's going to give you the words, it's going to give you the tools, and it's going to give you the confidence to get their their doctor's attention and to get your family on the same page. You don't want your family coming to you and saying, wait a minute, what's wrong with mom? What's wrong with dad? What happened here? They're changing. No, you want to say, you know what? Here, let me show you. This is exactly what's changing. We've already got this done. I've already taken care of this. I'm seeing the changes. I'm facing them, and I'm doing something about them. Okay? You don't have to be the only one paying attention. Get that physician to pay attention too. And then also add to it your brothers and sisters and other family members and saying, I'm seeing these changes and these are what they are. And this is what I'm doing. Do you have any suggestions? At least now they're not going to come at you. Whoa, wait a minute. That kind of thing. Mom and dad are changing and you're not being a good caregiver. No, you are. because you're watching these changes. So this new resource is going to make it easier for you to spot what's happening and take action calmly, and then feel like you finally got a handle on it all. And what's going to happen is you're going to watch them age gracefully. Gracefully. It's just a clear plan that works. It's amazing how it works. So if you have any questions, let me know. But this is so important. It's something that I want to share with you. Remember those 5 things, write them down. Watch how your senior ages. Write them down. Your signs that you're watching, your physical small signs that you're seeing. Get behind them. Watch how they walk. Are they walking today like they walked yesterday? Has something changed? Are they grabbing that cane? Has it been a while since a physical therapist has been in? What is changing? And you'll be shocked what you will catch that you didn't know was there. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.